Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. We have completed till verse number 10. The question of Arjuna in the 17th chapter is very practical. If somebody does not follow the Shastra because they have no chance to follow the Shastra because they have not studied, and therefore it may look as though they will not be able to walk the spiritual path. They cannot become an adhikari. It may look. Because Shastra gives a direction. Following which direction one can remove the rajas and the tamas and become sattvic. And therefore, following a life of Shastra enables one to become a right aspirant for the spiritual path. And that's the importance of the Shastra. But if someone does not have access to the Shastra, whatever be the reason, but yet has got a certain faith, has got a certain inclination, has got a certain direction. Inclination, faith, direction, has got a certain commitment, has got a certain dedication, has got a certain devotion. All of them coming under the broad term Shraddha. Then, how would you rate them? Would you rate them? Yes, they do not have access to the Shastra, but look, they have this thing, Shraddha. Then how would you rate them? Would you rate them as sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic? Meaning, would you rate them as adhikari or anadhikari? That is the question. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna replies, look, if they were following the Shastra, then you can say that they are sattvic. Now you are saying they are not following the Shastra, but they have a Shraddha. Now then, whether they are sattvic, rajasic, tamasic will depend upon their Shraddha. If the Shraddha is sattvic, then they are adhikari. If the Shraddha is rajasic, tamasic, then they are anadhikari. If the Shraddha, if the inclination towards something, if their dedication, devotion for something, if their natural movement forward, if that what their natural movement forward, that devotion, that dedication, that faith, that inclination depending upon what they are inclined to, depending upon what they are devoted to, depending upon what they are inclined, devoted to. Whether that what they are devoted to is of a sattvic nature, what they are devoted to is of a rajasic nature, what they are devoted to is of a tamasic nature, depending upon that, we can qualify them as sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. Now the question arises, where did the Shraddha come from? The Shraddha comes from two sources. One is what we bring with us when we are born. Some people will wonder, Swamiji, only in Hinduism there is rebirth. In Christianity or Islam or, there is no rebirth. How can I believe that there is something called rebirth? Valid question. Very true. But one thing very interesting you should note, it is not that other religions do not believe in rebirth. You may wonder what I am saying. In the course of time, it became different. If you take the ancient Greek, ancient Roman, it was a fact taken. Egyptian, Red Indian, African traditions, in all traditions around the world, there is life after birth is accepted in whatever form. All of them. Even if you take the Bible, there is reference to rebirth. Most of us here may not be scholars of the treatise, but yet there is reference. It is said Jesus, that statement is made there in the Bible, David reborn, King David reborn. Interestingly, in the Quran, it speaks of, before I was a stone, thereafter a bird, then a reptile, etc., etc., now a human. Very interesting. I am not a scholar in neither of them to such a great extent that I can claim authority, but yet these are the references you find. Swamiji, I don't care whether they say, he says, she says, that's not my issue. Is there a logical proof for rebirth? That's what I am interested in. Well, there is definitely logical proof. Swamiji, can you share? Okay, I will try. We all know something cannot become nothing, and from nothing something can come. Something cannot become nothing, and from nothing something cannot come. In physics, this is called as law of conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but can only be transformed from one form to another. Very well known. Elementary physics. What basically means is that na sato vidyate bhavaha na abhavo vidyate sataha. From nothing, something cannot come. And something cannot become nothing. From nothing, something cannot come, and something cannot become nothing. That's a very well-known, reasonable, commonsensical logic. Apply that logic to the full extent, you will have the proof for rebirth. Now, definitely body, we all can see that when a person dies, either it is burned to ashes or it is what they say, buried in the earth. That's called burying, is it not? Burning is called cremation. Correct? So either the body is cremated or the body is buried. Meaning it becomes one with the elements. That is well seen. Nobody can have any doubt on that. You may say, no, in our tradition we cut the body and we put for the birds. That's a different matter. But finally we see what happens to the body. Now tell me one thing. What happens to the mind? I'm not talking of brain. Brain also is part of the body. I'm asking what happens to the mind. Mind is subtle. Body is physical. I can take a blade and cut your finger. Well, I can take even a knife and pierce your heart. I can take fire and burn your limbs. And it can affect the physical. But mind is not physical. Mind is subtle. Mind is not something which you can cage. You can imprison a person's body, but you can never cage the person's mind. Careful. Mind is subtle, body is physical, gross, material. I mean material means physical, that's what I mean. Now the question is, this mind which is different from the body, because it is subtle, like for example electricity in the wire. Wire is physical, but electricity is subtle. So what happens to this mind? What happens to this mind? In other words, what happens to the jiva? That is why we use the word jivati. Jivati means what? Even when the body perishes, it continues to be living. That is how the name itself is coming. So if the physical body perishes, the mind, which is subtle, cannot be destroyed by the physical forces. What happens to it? Remember, what is the rule? Something cannot become nothing. From nothing, something cannot come. This mind is not the body. This mind, parents cannot create. I mean, parents cannot create. Our parents give body to us. The mind, parents can't give. The mind is independent of the body. Sometimes they say, Swamiji, mind is created by brain. Mind is created by brain. But remember, brain can be dead, but the person can be still. We speak of brain dead people. Brain dead. Brain dead, but person there. Even if the heart is not functioning, it doesn't mean the person is dead. I saw some time back a video. In that, fishes, fishes? Frozen totally. Frozen totally means what? It has become part of ice. It has become frozen. But then as the ice was warmed up, the fish came alive. What I mean to say is that there's something which is other than the body, which is that living thing. Mind is not created by the brain. The mind uses the brain for its expression. Small children, their brains are not well developed. Small kids, babies, their brains are not developed, and therefore the expression of the mind is limited. And as the brain comes back to its normal function, then the mind is able to express. As the brain evolves, the mind is able to express. Yes, there is a very close connection between brain and mind. When somebody grows very old, okay, the person starts forgetting many things. Why? It is not that the mind is weak. It is because the brain has started aging. The aging of the brain does affect the expression of the mind. But that does not mean brain creates the mind. Suppose your water tap, is getting rusted and getting blocked. Then the water which comes through the tap will become limited. But that doesn't mean the water in the tank is limited. The expression of the water in the tank is limited by the tap, but it doesn't mean the tap is creating the water. In the same way, the expression of the mind is limited by the brain, but it doesn't mean that the mind is creating the brain. This mind outlives the body. This mind cannot be destroyed by fire, cannot be destroyed by water. It is subtle. And therefore, this mind, when the body is destroyed, depending upon the actions, depending upon the tendencies, yatā karma, yatā śrutam. Depending upon the punya and papa, yatā karma. Yatā śrutam, depending upon its knowledge, depending upon its tendencies, it takes a future embodiment. This is called rebirth. And as the mind, remember, a new body comes, and that we say is birth. But actually it is not born. The mind is only continuing its journey. We say somebody is born, actually body only is born. We say somebody has died, body only has died. We say somebody has become old, body only has grown old. Mind is ageless. Mind continues. Well, Atman, the pure consciousness, is beyond everything, is a different matter. We are talking of mind now. And this mind, you can't own. Parents can't own this mind. That's why Kahlil Gibran, a very famous poet, says very beautifully, your children are born through you, but not born to you. Your children are born through you, but not born to you. Yes, because a child is born in your family, The child has got a certain karma to exhaust in your family. In your family, probably you have an inclination for spirituality. The child is also probably having a certain inclination for spirituality. And therefore, nature provides a logical movement forward for that individual. But it is not necessary that children will be able to fulfill all your expectations because you feel like that. They are different. Their minds are different. They have their own thinking. You can't cage that. At best, what you can do is that provide a right environment, what you think is right. That is what you can do. And that, as parents, as elderly people, we should do. But give them the freedom to think, because they have come with their own aims and they have come with their own svabhava. If it is true that genes determine everything, then two identical twins which are having the same genetical makeup, I am not talking of fraternal twins, I am talking of two identical twins, then they should be same. But every parent who has got an identical twin, they know, even they look the same. Sometimes even the mother gets confused who is who, especially when they are small children, small babies. And even when they grow up, they may have the same physical appearance, but yet their thinking is different. Very different. Sometimes totally opposed to each other, totally divergent, which only goes on to say that genes create the body makeup and their effect ends there. A particular genetic framework can create a particular physical framework which is conducive for that particular mind to express. Yes, there may be some musical genes, there may be some mathematics genes. Yes, but yet that brain makeup, which is determined by the genes, is conducive for that mathematical mind. A mathematical gene is required for a mathematical mind to function. An artistic gene is required for an artistic mind to function, and not the other way around. Not the other way around. It is not that the gene determines the mind, but it is the mind which uses the physical equipment of which genes are also part for its expression. So finally, what does it amount to? It amounts to this, that everybody transcends the body and comes through a journey, of which this body is only a transit. Are you able to appreciate what I am saying? And therefore, when you say, how is Shraddha made? The answer is that through the mind which comes. the mind which traverses from body to body, that mind brings in a svabhava. So that is why Shraddha is svabhavaja. What you are inclined to is based on your nature, and your nature is based upon your mind, which you have already brought. So the Shraddha can be sattvik, rājasik, tāmasik. That depends upon the svabhava. Another constituent or another factor responsible for Shraddha, whether it is sattvik, rājasik, tāmasik, is not just svabhava, what we are coming with, but it is also how we educate the mind now. The mind is very dynamic. The mind grows. The mind learns. The mind educates itself. The mind can evolve and the mind can also devolve. Right values help the mind to evolve. Wrong values help the mind to devolve. And therefore, the mind being such a dynamic organism, so to say, it is very important to note that Shraddha can be made, can be remade, can be broken, can be brought forth. It can change. All those things are under your control. Yes, we come with a svabhava, but this svabhava is not something which is totally fixed. We come with a svabhava, but it is not fixed. You can work at it. As your mind, so your Shraddha. Sattvanurupa Shraddha sarvasya. Yes, it may be difficult to overcome the svabhava, but it's not impossible. It may be a little strenuous to overcome a nature, but it is not impossible. Suppose in water we have a drop of blue ink. In the water we have a drop of blue ink. Then what happens? It becomes slightly bluish tinge. Now you want to remove that bluish tinge. What do you do? What do you do? Suppose there is more salt in the food that you have made. Let's say dal or something. What do you do? Add more of it. Add more of it. Add more water. Add more dal. Increase the quantity. Is it not? It takes effort. But it is not impossible. You can work at it. So there is a bluish tinge in the water. Add more water. And therefore, as the mind changes, your Shraddha can change. And therefore, even if a child's svabhava is a particular thing, parents can educate, can help the child. Our Pujya Gurudev used to say nicely, values can be given to the children, but he used to make a reference to values. Values are not taught, but they are caught. Suppose a child has got an inclination to tell lies. The parent gives left, right. Telling lies is no good. How much I got? Will tell lie one more. The fellow is beaten blue and what blue? Black and blue. The fellow is given black and blue. Cries. And after some time is okay. Phone call comes. Lady picks up the phone. And then at one she closes. Earlier like this phone, now mobile. That fellow is asking whether you are there or not. What should I tell? मुसीबत उनको बताओ मैं नहीं हूं. That fellow was beaten black and blue, is watching the whole thing. Do you think that person, that boy, that young fellow is going to tell the truth? Never. Values are caught, not taught. And therefore, values can be brought into and the mind can be changed. And Shraddha can change. So, Shraddha is made from two factors. Factor number one, Swabhava. Factor number two, mind, which is under your control. And therefore, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, if you want to know whether a person, even though he doesn't follow the Shastra, because he has no access to the Shastra, well, if he follows the Shastra, it is going to be sattvic, true. But if he doesn't follow the Shastra, still, if you say that he has got a Shraddha, a certain devotion to, an inclination towards, a certain dedication for, if you say, and you ask whether the person is sattvic, rājasic, tamasic, even if he doesn't follow the Shastra, the answer is, it all depends upon the Shraddha, which Shraddha in turn depends upon the Swabhava and also depends upon the mind. Right? And now, thereafter he says, how to find that Shraddha, what nature it is. That you can find out through certain indications. What the person loves to worship. What the person reveres. Whether it is Bhuta, Asura, people worship, is it not? Preta, Deva, or as I said yesterday, what the person naturally regards as worshipable. Worshipable? No. Worshipable, yes, there's a word is there, is it not? No, worshipable is not there. What ought to be worshipped? Or what deserves worship? Even in the world we find that some people love the saints and the Mahatmas. Some people like people who are very rājasic in nature. There are some people who like and who look forward for assistance from those who are very diabolical in nature. There are. Then you can know this person has got a natural inclination. However much you may force somebody to go and meet that Mahatma, you go meet. Why are you troubling? मुझे छोड़ दो. Nature pulls, and the other person automatically goes. And remember, initially the person may not go, but as the mind changes, the person also goes. Have you seen that? In your own life, you might have seen sometime. You must say, साधु लोग अयो क्या वो चक्कर में मुझे मत डालना. Sometimes the husband tells the wife, a great Mahatma has come, why don't we go and meet him? महात्मा नहीं, साधु लोग महात्मा लोग को मैं यहां से दूर से ही प्रणाम करता हूं, आप जाइए, मुझे नहीं. Initially, but that very same person, after a few years or some years, that very same person, his mind has changed. Do you see how Shraddha changes as the mind changes? So, depending upon what is their altar of worship, clue number 1 to find the Shraddha. Clue number 2, and this is not just a clue, but also the way to change the Shraddha. The beauty of Bhagavan Shri Krishna's explanation is not just giving the clue how to find out. Suppose you see in your mind that your Shraddha is not up to the mark. Shraddha means what? Inclination towards. Suppose your Shraddha is not up to the mark, you can work at it. It is not only a clue to find the Shraddha, but it is also the practical means to change our Shraddha. That's the beauty. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna starts with the basic thing, food. Nobody can avoid food. And then he says, this is sattvic. He did not say this is sattvic food. This is not rājasic. Very carefully he says, this is food loved by the sattvic. This is food loved by the rājasic. Please see, carefully you see. This is a food loved by the tāmasic. Meaning what? That Shraddha is hinted there. The tāmasic like food. Of course it is tāmasic food we say, because it is loved by tāmasic. It is tāmasic food we say. No doubt about it. It is tāmasic food because it causes tamas. What causes tamas? What causes lethargy in the body? And what causes stupor at the mind level, dullness at the intellect level, is tamasic food. In a simple way. What makes the body, mind all dull, lethargic, and unable to react and comprehend is tamasic food. I'm not going to give list of, Swamiji give me list of 1, 2, 3, 4. Swamiji, please, Swamiji, give list. Give list, no. Swamiji, be. I don't want to say things that sometimes people will get offended because they think we are eating that and this Swamiji is telling that. But why should I worry? I should tell the truth, no? Why? Afterwards you are different, na? Simple. Afterwards ask that person to read something and tell the essence of it. No, Swamiji, I am not like that, you know. I am a very... No. I carefully drink. I am not a drunkard. I drink. And that's good for health. You think I'm a fool to believe all this nonsense? No. If this much can create problem, this can create that much problem. Yes, it is good that you are not a drunkard, but see if you can slowly get out of it. So try. It's a habit. It's difficult. I know. Swamiji, all the lovely things of life, though you are telling me stuff like, what is this, Swamiji? Okay, I will not tell. Other things are also there. After eating, your stomach is full. It is made up of such complex proteins, fatty acids, not good ones are also there. Okay. And those things which are crawling, flying, walking, swimming, tamasic. Okay, so basic, what is tamasic? Tamasic is that which dullens you. What is rajasic? Rajasic is that which, even when you are having, pains you. Even when you are having, pains you means what? Your tongue is burning, your eyes are watering, your skin is also sweating, and still you are enjoying. Sattvic, rajasic. And what is sattvic? Sattvic is that which is healthy. Simple. Healthy to body, healthy to mind. And please do not think whatever is vegetarian is sattvika. I never said that. But why don't you say, Swamiji, whatever is non-vegetarian is sattvic also? No. ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता हूँ मैं. Even in vegetarian there are some tamasic foods. Well, if I start talking only on this topic, it will not work out. So one clue is food. The second clue is what? First one was worship. Second one is food. Now third one Bhagavan says is yajna. Fourth one Bhagavan says tapa. Fifth one Bhagavan says dana. Okay. So he says these are the 5 clues by which you can find the person's śraddha and then determine whether it's sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. But remember, it is not just clue to find out somebody. Let us not think that we are all embodiments of sattva and pure, solidified sattva walking on 2 legs. No. We have got our own elements of rajas and tamas, which can be overcome if you take to the sattvic. Now, coming in the order, food is over. Now, coming to the next one, worship is over. What they worship, then we came to food. Now we go to yajna. And this yajna is from verse number 3 kinds of yajna he speaks. Verse number 11, 12 and 13. Let us read it together.
aphalākāṅkṣibhiryajñō vidhidṛṣṭō ijyatē yaṣṭavyamēvēti manaḥ
Śraddhāvirahitaṃ manaḥ
samādhāya ca sāttvikaḥ abhisandhāya tu phalaṃ dambhārthamapi chaiva
yat
ijyatē
bharataśrēṣṭha
tam yajñaṃ vidhidṛṣṭō
vidhihīnamasṛṣṭānnaṃ
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 mantrahīnamadakṣiṇam śraddhāvirahitaṃ yajñaṃ tāmasaṃ parichakṣatē.
parichakṣatē. So what is sattvika? Number 11. Sattvika yajna is of this nature. First of all, yajna, the fire ritual. In the tradition we have yajna, yaga we have. During various occasions we also organize it. We may not know the Shastra, everything. It is not that we know. We call the priest and we get the yajna organized. And it is not necessarily yajna, it could be some other worship. At that time it used to be yajna, yaga. Now we have our own various kinds of worship we have. We go to a temple, we offer a worship also. We do that. In our own ways we do. Sometimes at our own home we organize a worship. Various things we do. Is it not? If the yajna is yaṣṭavyamēvēti, yaṣṭavyamēva, I ought to do this worship. Why are you doing? I ought to do this. This is I have to do it. It is nothing to do with why not and all. No. It has to be done. I feel it must be done. It's a particular day. Today is a particular auspicious day. On this auspicious day, this has to be done. Shivaratri karnai yaṣṭavyamēvēti. Aphalākāṅkṣibhiryajñō, not wanting any kind of fruit, not wanting any kind of selfish results, just for pleasing Bhagavan, not for any selfishness. And how are you performing the yaga, or how are you performing the worship? Manaḥ samādhāya, the mind absorbed in that. Not in between puja, you suddenly think, Arey, I have not made the phone call. Bring the phone. You are sitting in the puja room. And then you tell you that your wife to bring the phone call. And sitting in front of Bhagavan giving left, right, that fellow. Not even really thinking Bhagavan is there in front of you. I will tell you one small anecdote. One person was a Ganesha Bhakta, a great devotee of Bhagavan. And he worshipped Ganesha so much. And then wanted to have Bhagavan's darshan. And Bhagavan did not give darshan. And every day, he used to find very nice, agarbatti, that incense stick. Very, very best one he used to get for Bhagavan. And light it. And he became so angry with Bhagavan Ganesha. He said, I am worshipping you so long. I want to have your darshan and you are not giving me darshan. I will not allow you to smell this fragrance. And then that trunk was there, he put some cotton on that and closed it. And it is said Bhagavan became so pleased. And he appeared for him and gave darshan. And then he asked, why did you come? Why did you not come for so long? I prayed to you. You never thought that I am in front of you. You never felt that I am Bhagavan, that I am. Only today you felt that I am a Chetana living. What can I do? Left and right, speaking to that fellow, shouting that, did you transfer the money? Huh? Did you? I'm saying, did you? He says, no. How dare you did not transfer the money? All discussion. Useless things. Keeping Bhagavan in front. Samādhāya. Such a kind of vidhidṛṣṭā, as per what is to be done. This is called as sattvika. And how is rajasika? Opposite of sattvika will be rajasika and tamasika. In some way, rajasika will be opposite sattvika, and in some ways, tamasika will be opposite rajasika. Tamasika will be opposite to sattvika. Abhisandhāya tu phalaṃ. Abhisandhāya tu phalaṃ. That was without expecting any result. Without any expecting any result means for pleasing God, for the joy of God. That was done. Now, for something what one wants. Abhisandhāya tu phalaṃ. Bhagavan, I have given you this much. You saw? Promise me. What? I want double of this. And in case you fulfill, next time I'll give you. Abhisandhāya tu phalaṃ. Dambhārtham or dambhārtham. Dambhārtham means what? Show off. It's actually worship is not done for the Lord. It is for one's own glory. Others can see what a great devotee I am. In this way, ijyatē. In this way, when the worship is done, tam yajñaṃ, that yajna, please know it as rājasam. And what is tāmasaṃ? Vidhihīnam. Vidhihīnam, whatever the Shastra tells must be done, nothing is taken into account. vidhihīnamasṛṣṭānnaṃ. And in a yajna, usually food is given to the guests who come for participate in the yajna. No, nothing is given. No food. All of you drink water and go. Asṛṣṭānnaṃ. Mantrahīnam. And the Pandit is not allowed to chant the mantra properly also. जल्दी जल्दी करो, जल्दी करो, कितना लोग आ रहे हैं, वो सब आने के पहले खत्म करो, नहीं तो मुश्किल हो जाएगा, सबके लिए खाना देना पड़ेगा, करो जल्दी 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 जल्दी. Or some politician has come as an invitee and he is telling, I have to go fast, I have to go fast. And yajna, purnahuti only, आप पूर्णाहुति के लिए थोड़ा पूर्णाहुति, अरे जल्दी करो ना, वो जाना है अभी, कितना टाइम लगेगा, कम से कम 2 घंटा लगेगा. 2 घंटा लगेगा क्या पुजारी पंडित जी, आधा घंटे करो करो. And the Pandit ji also, मेरा प्रारब्ध है, he also finishes. And the Purnahuti. And Purnahuti, most important thing is not Purnahuti. Photo, video, photo, sub photo, all of that. And instead of looking into the fire and offering Purnahuti, he is looking. Mantrahīnam. Adakṣiṇam. And after that, worship is over, yajna dakshina is to be given, no pujari. आधा घंटे में ही किया. Arrangement was before was 5,000 rupees. Now you half an hour only over. So 5,000 rupees now half an hour only. How much I have to pay? You think and tell me. Accountant, come here. Calculate. Half an hour. He says, only 500 rupees should be given. 500 rupees बहुत है. बहुत है. इतना मत देना. नहीं, but you said no, calculate and this and 500 rupees. क्या करना? This guy. Adakṣiṇam. The Pandit ji, no, I don't want anything. You give 10 rupees for the sake of dakshina. I am going. No, enough. I don't want anything. This kind of yajna. Adakṣiṇam. vidhihīnamasṛṣṭānnaṃ mantrahīnam adakṣiṇam. śraddhāvirahitaṃ. No faith in that. Naturally. This is called as tāmasaṃ. All right. Now coming to tapas. What all is over? Worship is over. Correct? Food is over. Next is yajna is over. Now we come to tapas. Before going to tapas, Bhagavan Shri Krishna presents the varieties of tapas. He speaks of śārīraka, he speaks of vāchika, and then he speaks of manasika. He divides. So śārīraṃ tapaha, vāṅmayam tapaha, and manasa tapa. Okay, so let us first read what they are. This is 15, 16, 17 together. 14, 15, 16 together.
dēvadvijaguruprājñapūjanaṃ śauchamārjavam brahmacharyamahiṃsā śārīraṃ tapa ucyate anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam ca yad swadhyāyābhyasanam chaiva vāṅmayam tapa ucyate manaḥ prasadah saumyatvam maunamatma vinigrahah bhavasamshuddhirityetad tapo manasamucyate.
How is the śārīraṃ tapaha? What is śārīraṃ tapaha? Verse 14. dēvadvijaguruprājñapūjanaṃ. There are 5 constituents for the śārīra tapa. Pujanam, worship. Worship of dēvadvijaguruprājña. Deva, God. Dvija, those who are dedicated towards the Veda. Guru. Guru is Guru, teacher. Prajna, wise people. Pujanam, worship. What is the meaning of worship? For Deva, going to temple, etc., or offering puja, which are a little physical in nature. Sharira pradhana. When we say shariram tapaha, puja is done in the mind only, is it not? The individual does the puja, but there is pradhanata of the body. Pradhanata, there is a primariness of the body, and therefore it is called as shariram tapa. Guru, when the Guru is there, Guru is coming, elders are coming, Guru is, one gets up. In our tradition, we give elders, we get up when they come. Guru comes, we worship the feet, we salute them. Yes, actual salutation is done by the individual, but through the body is done. The sharira is pradhana. Because sharira is pradhana, even though it is an individual, which is not the body, who does the actual worship, but still it is done through the body. The instrument of doing is the body. And therefore, they all become what is called a shariram tapa. So first is pujanam. Second, shaucham. Shaucham, keeping the body clean. shaucham. Arjavam. What is arjavam? Arjavam here is not straightforwardness. That will go to the mind. But here arjavam means dedicatedly doing what is to be done and desisting from what is not to be done. Vihita, towards that, vihita, what ought to be done, one's duty, then one does it. Even if it is tired or you don't feel like doing it or it's difficult, still you do it. That is called as arjavam. So here, when we say arjavam, what we mean is that habit, that physical habit of doing one's duty regardless of the difficulty. Arjavam. Brahmacharyam. Brahmacharyam, celibacy, but that depends on whether one is a brahmachari, grihastha, sannyasi and all those things. For a brahmachari or for a sannyasi, it's total abstinence. Goes without saying. For vanaprasthi also. But for a grihastha, what is permitted and what is allowed by shastra, staying within that limit, that also is brahmacharya. In tradition, these kind of concepts vary according to different. So what is brahmachari for a vanaprastha, sannyasi and a brahmachari is very different from what is brahmacharya for a grihastha. Staying within the rules of righteousness, that is sufficient brahmacharya for a grihastha. And for a sannyasi, brahmacharya is very different thing. Okay? Ahimsa. Ahimsa, not harming. All these five, pujanam, shaucham, arjavam, brahmacharyam, ahimsa, they become śārīraṃ tapa. What is vāṅmaya tapam? You see, all these things we can practice. What is vāṅmayam tapa? The tapas at the speech level. The words that we utter, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says beautifully, anudvegakaram, satyam, priyam, hitam. Please underline. These three verses are very important. The vakya, the words we utter, should not be udvegakara. Udvegakara should not be something which causes sorrow to others. That is tapas at the speech level. And how it should be? It should be truthful, satyam. It should be priyam. It should be something which the person can accept it, can digest it, feels soft. And hitam, what is good. This is what famously it is said as satyam vada, priyam vada, hitam vada, mitam vada. Tell the truth, satyam vada. But how should you tell the truth? Priyam vada. Say in such a way that the other person finds it palatable. Hitam vada. Say it what is good for the other person. Hitam vada. And even then, mitam vada. Tell it in packets which is acceptable, which is understandable, which the other person can relate to, which the other person feels comfortable listening. No, Swamiji, it's very difficult, Swamiji. I can tell the truth, but I cannot tell what is pleasant. It is said, say the truth and say it pleasantly. And say it what is useful. And at the same time, say it in amounts which can be accepted. Now that is a challenge. All these things put together, try. You can either say something very sweetly to somebody, but utter lies. Here you have to tell the truth and tell it pleasantly and tell it for the other person's welfare. Keep that in your heart and tell, and at the same time tell it in moderation. Try this. That becomes tapas. What such useful, for life. And then what? So one is how you speak. The next one is svadhyaya. Svadhyaya is daily recitation of scriptural texts. In days of yore, in the few centuries back at least, recitation of the portion of the Veda of your family. Everybody's family were dedicated to one portion of the Veda, and that they used to chant. You can every day you can chant the 16th chapter and 17th chapter. You have studied every day. We have been chanting also. Or you may have Ramcharitamanas which you chant. Or you may have your own, Devi Bhagavat you may have. Durga Saptasati you may have. Daily making a point of chanting some portion of the Shastra. And if you know the Veda, wonderful, learn, chant it. And if you do not know, find a person who can teach you also. Study and then you can chant. No, Swamiji, I can't chant. I don't come from that kind of family. No, belongs to everybody. Foreigners are also chanting now. Chanting so well. Such limitations and distinctions are not valid. Learn. It is our knowledge tradition. And every day make a point of chanting. Because as you chant, it will go inside. And when you understand and chant, it will give you greater fulfillment. So that is svadhyaya abhyasanam, the practice of chanting. So these, the way you speak and the recitation of spiritual texts, they become the vāṅmayam tapa. Alright. What is manasika tapa? Manaḥ prasada. Each one is so nice. Manaḥ prasada. Prasada means purity. The cleanliness of the mind. Or one may say, prasada is sometimes translated as prasannata. The calmness. Manaḥ prasada. The equanimity. The cheerfulness of the mind. Prasada. This is a tapas. So morning to evening, morning to night till you go to sleep, keep the mind cheerful. Tapas. Saumyatvam. Saumyatvam means what? Saumya. Pleasant. Pleasant mind. Pleasant mind. And also the mind which is not agitated. The pleasantness of the mind and the non-agitation of the mind. Maunam. See, Bhagavan has put Maunam where? Maunam in the mind. So what is this Maunam here? This Maunam is not the verbal Maunam, mere one day Mauna and then you talk everything with your hands and write. Have you seen some people Mauna? The person wants more potato. This is not Mauna. Actual Mauna is of the mind. Manaḥ prasada. So Maunam. Maunam is what? The mind able to collect your mind and able to think on the higher truths. That's called Maunam. keeping the mind free of distractions and making it focus on the tattva. All right. This is maunam. Atma vinigraha. Atma vinigraha is what? Able to quieten the mind in such a way it goes to deep absorption. You're doing worship of the Bhagavan. The mind becomes so still. Absorption, that kind of samadhi, that is called Atma Vinigraha. Then very important, Bhava Samshuddhi. Bhava Samshuddhi, purity of intentions. Intent must be pure. We may give something to somebody, but the intent may be not pure. It may be to keep the person under our control. So many wrong intentions sully even pure acts. Bhava Samshuddhi. Ijyatē tapo manasam uchyate. That is a manasika tapas. Manaḥ prasada, calmness of the mind. Saumyatvam, the pleasantness of the mind. Maunam, able to reflect upon the higher truths quietly in the mind. Atma Vinigraha, making the mind absorbed. Bhava Samshuddhi, purity of intentions. These all become the manasika tapas. So how to cultivate sāttvikaḥ? See? So thus, after explaining what are the three forms of tapas, then Bhagavan will now say, what is sattvika tapas, what is the rājasika tapas, what is the tāmasika tapas. Then after tapas will come dana. What is sattvika dana, what is rājasika dana, what is a tāmasika dana. Actually, he is not telling what is sattvika dana, what is rājasika dana, what is tāmasika dana and all. Or what is sattvika tapas, rājasika tapas, tāmasika. He is not saying that. He will say, those who have got the sattvika śraddha will do this tapas. Those who are having the rājasika śraddha will do this kind of tapas. Those who tāmasika will do this kind of tapas. And therefore that becomes sattvika tapas, rājasika tapas, tāmasika tapas. But it is a linga, a hint, a clue. Because the question was, a person who does not, a person who's got śraddha only, how do you know that sattvik, rājasik, tāmasik? See how he does this. From this you will know. And therefore it is also a method by which we can also become sattvik and avoid the rājasik and the tāmasik. So this we will take up in the tomorrow session. Okay. Now we are in verse number 17. Purnamadah purnamidam purnāt purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadāya purnameva vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.